British explorer Captain James A. Cook may not have been the first European to visit the Hawaiian Islands. Some historians claim that a Spanish navigator, Juan Gaetano, visited the islands in the mid-1500s. However, it was Cook's visits that first brought the islands to the attention of Europe. During his first two voyages, Cook explored the southern part of the globe, including New Zealand, the coast of Australia, and some of the Pacific Islands. After he completed his first two voyages, many Pacific Islands were correctly charted for the first time with the newly invented chronometer. Cook did his work so carefully that since his day there has been little change in the maps of the islands of the Southwest Pacific. In terms of Hawaiian history, Cook's third voyage is most important. On July 12, 1776, Cook set sail on his third voyage with two ships, the Resolution and the Discovery. He was searching for the Northwest Passage from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean. He sailed around Africa to Tasmania, and from there to the Cook Islands and on to Tahiti. Since Cook had visited Tahiti before, he chose it as the place to refit his ships before heading northward to explore the northwest coast of North America. Leaving Tahiti, Cook, by chance, followed the route taken by the ancient Polynesians, who sailed from Tahiti to Hawaii. On January 18, 1778, Cook sighted Oahu first, then Kauai. He named the islands the Sandwich Islands in honor of the Earl of Sandwich, who was then the First Lord of the British Admiralty, a position similar to that of the U.S. Secretary of the Navy. His first stop in Hawaii was at Waimea, Kauai. It did not take long for a thriving trade to develop between the English and the Hawaiians. The English needed food, and Hawaiians wanted the iron nails the English offered in exchange. Although the Hawaiians had small amounts of iron before Cook's arrival, possibly washed ashore from Spanish shipwrecks, it was hard to get, and islanders knew its value. They traded 60 pigs, yams, sweet potatoes, cooking bananas, and taro for nails and some pieces of iron. When Cook went ashore, the people of Kauai treated him like a chief of the highest rank or as a god. From Kauai, Cook sailed to the nearby island of Niihau. He got yams and salt there, and in return he gave the people of Niihau goats and pigs, as well as melon, pumpkin, and onion seeds. After 2 weeks, Cook sailed off to explore the northwestern part of the North American coastline. Late in the fall, Cook and his crews returned to Hawaii to spend the winter and explore the islands more thoroughly. After charting the coasts of Maui and Hawaii, Cook anchored at Kealakekua Bay on the Kona coast of the island of Hawaii to refit his ships. The Hawaiians were quite excited by the sight of Cook's ships as he explored the two islands. This visit, as well as his first one, occurred in the Makahiki season, sacred to the peaceful god Lono. Maybe the kahuna believed that Cook's return fulfilled the legend of the god Lono. According to the Hawaiian legend, Lono had sailed away, promising to return someday. The Englishmen fitted the description of Lono, and even the sails on their ships were square, like one of the symbols sacred to Lono. As promised in the legend, the ships were full of food. While the two ships were being repaired, the English traded with the Hawaiians. The king, Kalaniʻopuʻu, visited Cook aboard the Resolution and exchanged gifts with him. The king gave Cook several feather cloaks and some food. Cook gave the king a linen shirt and a sword. And later, Cook presented the king with a tool chest. Much of the iron traded was in the form of daggers made by the ship's blacksmiths. They were modeled after the Hawaiians' wooden pahua. There were no serious quarrels between the English and the Hawaiians. Nothing suggested the tragic events to follow. In 18 days, the repairs were completed and the ships were loaded with supplies. Cook left Kealakekua, planning to return to the Pacific Northwest. However, A few days later, a storm damaged the Resolution and forced him to return to Kealakekua Bay. This time, Cook was not received so happily. The season of Ku, a war god, had begun. Supplying food for the crew of the two ships had left the Hawaiians with barely enough food for themselves. They quarreled with Cook's crew, threw rocks at some of the crew members who had gone ashore, and stole a large ship's boat and broke it up to get the nails. Cook took command of a group going ashore to recover the boat. He planned to lure the king on board ship and hold him hostage until the boat was returned. Cook almost succeeded, but trouble broke out as he was returning with the king. During the fighting, Cook was killed. The Hawaiians carried away the bodies of Cook and 4 sailors who had also been killed in the fight. Cook's body was treated like that of a high chief or a god, and as was the custom, the flesh was removed and some of the bones distributed amongst the high chiefs. Captain Clerke, now commander of the expedition, and most of the Hawaiian leaders, favored a peaceful settlement. Nevertheless, some fighting continued until parts of Cook's body were returned. The Hawaiians showed great courage against the superior weapons of the English. A monument to Captain Cook stands today at Kealakekua Bay. If you visit in person, you can see his headstone here.